Canada's elbows up delusion, how we turn diplomacy into bad performance. Welcome to Wake Up Canada News. I'm Brad Wilder. This next article comes from Stevland, Ambrose. We've waited 3 months for a trade deal, and all we got was this lousy letter. The Liberals' Elbows Up campaign was a political malpractice disguised as patriotism. They transformed what should have been quiet diplomatic crisis management into a nationalist pissing contest, as if Canada and the United States were hockey rivals squaring off on equal terms. We were never equals. The U.S. is 10 times our population, 10 times our wealth, and 10 times our market. For generations, we've enjoyed privileged access to the world's largest marketplace. Our response to these threats against that access should have been diplomacy and negotiation, not pulling American liquor from store shelves and flexing our imaginary muscles. But the Liberals needed to win an election, so they sold Canadians a fantasy that we could somehow intimidate our way out of this crisis through sheer force of will and Gordie Howe nostalgia. The charade reached its peak when Carney flew to Washington, fresh off his electoral victory. Canadian media breathlessly covered his stunning moment when he told Trump Canada is not for sale, as if this was some profound act of defiance rather than stating the obvious. What they didn't highlight was that Carney's effusive praise for Trump moments earlier, thanking him for his transformational leadership and relentless focus on the American worker. The supposed tough guy immediately, became a supplicant, kissing Trump's ring and positioning himself as an eager partner. The elbows up posturing vanished in seconds, and apparently it was all Carney had. Because when Trump calmly explained, "We don't want your cars, steel, or aluminum, we're building our own factories," Carney tried to respond, but froze. Then Trump added without raising his voice, "Canada should figure out how to sustain itself." This wasn't bravado, it was a zinger. It was a warning. Because from Trump's perspective, if Canada can't justify its relevance through trade, there's no business case for Canada to even exist, at least not as privileged economic partners. So for 3 months since, Canada has consoled itself with the delusion that Trump's tariffs don't make sense and will never work, that Trump is simply too stupid to understand basic economics. Meanwhile, the rest of the world adapted. South Korea, Thailand, Pakistan, Vietnam, and the UK all signed deals by offering meaningful concessions in exchange for reduced but not eliminated tariffs and continued market access. Apparently, for those countries, there is a business case for accessing the world's largest marketplace, even with an ocean in the way and tariffs attached. But not for Canada. We're too proud for such pragmatism. Instead, Carney proposed that we pivot to trade with Europe and reduce our dependence on the U.S. Brilliant strategy, except the EU just quietly signed a massive trade deal with the U.S. They're eating our dinner while we reminisce about the NHL glory days and lecture ourselves about sovereignty. Trudeau once said 25% tariffs would be the end of Canada. As of yesterday, we're now facing 35%. No trade deal, no leverage, no roadmap. So what does Carney offer instead? An open letter. A soft PR slick document padded with vague promises about lowering interprovincial trade barriers. Good ideas that should have been implemented months ago but will do little to offset the economic devastation ahead. Most tellingly, while promising historic investments in border security to address Trump's fentanyl concerns, Carney couldn't resist reiterating that Canada is responsible for only 1% of U.S. fentanyl imports. This might be technically true if you only count seized shipments, but that's absolutely delusional given that Canada has become a major fentanyl manufacturing and money laundering hub, with production capacity that far exceeds domestic consumption. One super lab alone containing enough product for 95 million lethal doses. Now, according to CSIS, the Mexican cartel has been operating in Canada for years, while Chinese triads are washing 36 to 91 billion annually through our financial system. If you're promising to fix a problem, while simultaneously minimizing it in the same breath, you're not negotiating in good faith. You're performing for a domestic audience that wants to be told comfortable lies. This is Canada's real problem, an entitled attitude that we deserve unfettered access to the U.S. market based on historical precedent. Canada keeps acting like Trump is a dumb bully who's victimizing us for no reason. We've been carrying on with the arrogant assumption that he's too stupid to see through our contradictions. But from his perspective, we're just another weak trading partner who brings nothing to the table but complaints. And the sad thing is, he's not wrong. We've responded to an existential economic threat with unfocused, inconsistent performance art. The elbows up strategy was always a fantasy. The delusion that a country serving as narco state financial headquarters could somehow intimidate the largest trading partner through nationalist theatrics. The rest of the world is making deals. We've been making bad performance art, and we're about to find out the difference. Thanks for watching Wake Up Canada News. Please like, share, and follow us on any of your favorite socials, including YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, BitChute, and our website at wakeupcanadanews.com. Till next time, remember you're the voice, and it's time to make it count. I'm Brad Wilder, and I'll see you soon.